Brilliant. We're streaming again, and I named the stream Welde. Keep around. Try to figure out what the fuck that means. So, what? Okay. I want to create another C# app. So, the way I do work, I do only 20 minutes at a time. So I do 20 minutes, then I rest for 5 minutes, then another 20 minutes, and so on and so on. And every day I need to do an hour, so 3 of 20 minutes, an hour of my course that I'm studying on right now. So I want to move that entire operation from my whiteboard into an actual terminal app. So I'm going to be doing that today. So first of all, let's go to csproj, then gh-repo create clone, and it's going to be called Welde. Yeah, Welde makes sense to me. Maybe I'll eventually explain what that means. Okay, so we have Welde, and it's now here. Let's cd into Welde. Okay, .NET new solution. .NET new console. Without a name. And it should be called Welde. And it is. Wait, what? I thought that it created a folder by itself, but I guess not. So let's remove program, Welde, and obj. Oh, Welde. Oh, csproj, and obj. And let's remove for real. Okay, so let's look at what actually there's a cooler method. Let's bat Welde. What do we have here? Nothing that I need to remove after accidentally creating the wrong project, so it's okay. .NET new console, let's actually call it now, Welde. I do realize how confusing I make it. Like, there's the Welde solution, and then the Welde project. I realize it's like kind of confusing, but oh well. So, .NET new, git ignore. What else do I need to do? Oh, .NET solution add. Yes. Cool. And now just open it in VS Code. Hold up. Oh, it still opens both windows. That's interesting. Well, I'm gonna keep this one closed, I think. Okay, sure. Workspace. I'm gonna call it workspace and put it in my dot files, I guess. Okay, in that case, VS Code workspace. Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. Fuck. I have a habit of opening Discord when that's not actually what I want to be doing. Oh, also, one idea, which is very, obvious, but still. Reading chat by having the stream opened on my phone. Oh, that's perfect. So now, I will... Woohoo! I have one viewer who is myself. Okay. So now I can more easily see chat, even if I don't open this window. But I might still, from time to time, I think as a VOD watcher, is very, when I watch streams, or VODs of streams, I want to see the chat. It's like a really big part of streaming. which is why I'll still like open it and in the browser. Okay. And I go to program because I want to do this and actually give it the namespace of Welde. Okay, and now what are you waiting for? What? And Control C doesn't work? That's crazy. That is so crazy. Let's actually open another terminal, which I'm going to call, obviously, Welde. What am I even thinking about? And it's going to be this color, I think. Okay, let's go to Welde. And now I can do GCR for git create. So it git adds everything, git commits as the first commit, and then git pushes while binding the remote to origin. And I don't need to specify the link myself because that's done automatically by the GitHub CLI, which I used to create and to clone the repository. So that's why I love using the GitHub CLI. Okay, so what even is this project? Welde will have two files. One file will have the date yes, one file will have the date, well, the current date, because every single day that counter of work is going to be lowered by an amount that I set. Okay, in this case, let's cd, first of all, let's open another terminal and have two of those so I can be in Welde. And now let's, what do we have here? Let's touch settings.cs. So settings will be a class, a static class. What's the difference between that and a struct? The difference is pretty simple. It's the fact that I don't know how to use structs and I do know how to use classes, so I'm gonna use a class. So namespace Welde, public. Okay, does it need to be public or maybe just internal? It's true that I won't have any more than this single project in here, but if I did, it would be public actually. So public static class settings. Cool. And I know that C# uses this kind of bracket thing instead of being on the same line, but I just can't bring myself to get used to actually typing it in myself. And I find this like horrible. The fact that this is the standard, ew. Like C# is already too big of a language in terms of all the stuff that you type in, and having this thing as well is just ridiculous. Okay. So settings. So okay, also public static. So what are the settings that you can set? First of all, decrement every day is, for me, it's 3. Forgot to actually give the type. Okay, decrement every day. Non-constant fields should not be visible. So let's make it const. Okay, okay, so the reason for settings, I could obviously just put all of this like in line inside of code, but that would be worse code. So right now I hard code the actual settings, but then eventually I could pretty easily implement like a JSON file and commands to work with that JSON file that change those settings essentially. So that's why I have a class. So public const and decrement every day. That's the first setting that I want to have. Now I wonder if it's actually going to be the only setting that I really need. So we can increment, that's just a command. It decrements itself, reset, that's also a command. Okay, and so far that's the only setting. But oh well, if I ever need anything more, I can just add it here pretty easily. So that's a pretty good upside to it. So let's commit it, add settings. Cool. Now, after we have settings, what do we have other than that? Settings, eater. Okay, I'm gonna name a class eater. It's not very readable, I realize it, but it's just so much cooler than whatever else it could make up. Okay, so eater is the thing that will decrement the counter every single day. So it eats up your count. Makes sense? I think it kind of makes sense. Okay. So eater, would it be public? No, it would not be. It would be internal. It doesn't matter most of the time, but I do want to teach myself to use the correct, access modifiers. So, internal, do we make an instance of it? So far, I don't think we need to. So, internal static class eater, which will have a method that I'll implement later. So far, I'm gonna just add eater because I don't know what my implementation of the actual thing is going to be. So let's touch another file. So we have the eater, now the incrementer, or other manager, counter manager. Yeah, I guess counter manager makes enough sense to me. Counter manager. Okay, counter manager. I'm making files and naming stuff a bit better than in my last project, I realize. Still not particularly good, but I am getting better, and that actually makes me quite happy. And you know what else makes me quite happy? The fact that, including me, basically there's someone watching. Hello! I noticed you some time ago. Thanks for watching. Okay, so namespace, Welde. As far as I know, I don't really need to specify namespace. It's implied, but I still like to have this precise, like, yes, it's this namespace, so later I don't have to fuck around, because I fucked around early. Actually, look at my cursor. I love this shit so much. Like, when it changes shape, it's so smooth. Regardless. Public, okay, here it's probably not going to be static. So, public class counter manager. So, what do we have here? First of all, I wanna open in NeoVim a file that's called something manager as well, but Shore manager, I'm pretty sure. Yes, and find this. So yank till boop. Okay. Oh, another person joined. At least that's the case on my phone. I don't understand how it has 2 here, but 3 here. Like, how does this work? I don't understand, but hello. Okay, so I'll paste it as a comment immediately so I don't forget it. Oh, I didn't actually. Well, here we go. To the boop boop yank till boop. Wait, right. Screencast mode for all the people who are interested in NeoVim or maybe overall my key bindings. Now you can see what I'm actually pressing. Almost forgot about that. Okay. So I'm gonna paste it as a comment so I don't forget it. So app domain, current domain, base directory. To explain what that means, let's go to a different project of mine called Short Tracker. So, where is this? So you can use this with path.combine to make a relative like file thing. Fucking Wildberries, which is the Russian version of Amazon, keeps sending me ads, and every time I just like get the feeling of, oh, did something that I ordered come by? No, it's just an ad. So, base directory. If we look in this directory, we can see this chores JSON. So, if you use app domain, current domain, base directory, you essentially put that file inside of net 7.0. So yeah, very useful because it's consistent rather than just having relative files which go God knows where. Okay, so public, is it public? I don't think so. Private, read only, string. It's taking a lot, I understand. So counter manager, it will have the file that has how many things you have. Makes sense, right? So this is going to be the file path. So file path. Let's make a more descriptive name. Instead of file path, I'm going to name it counter file. I think that's a bit better. So path combine, and now this thing, and the actual counter file name, which I'm going to call counter.txt. There could be like a use for some overly complicated like special file, like .dat file, for example, with serialization and so on, but I just don't think it's necessary at all. So what this counter file will have is a number. So it starts out at 0 when you first like get your program. You have a way to read that file and write to that file. Okay. Comma. And I lost my thought completely. Oh, yes. So you'll also have a command to increment it and to reset it. Since it's just a number in a file, converting it from text, from a string, into a number and then doing math on it and writing it back seems very like easy. So okay, so let's do that. Private void, I think. Sure, private void read will return us, right, return us. So string, private string read will return what's in that file. So return file read all text counter file. That's pretty simple. However, what I really need from that file and what it will contain is an integer. So let's actually not return a string but an integer instead. It makes more sense. Remove this return right here, and now it's a string text okay. Yeah, unnecessary yet is going to be necessary, don't worry about it. Now we have the text that we got. So now we need to parse it into an integer. I don't quite remember how to do that, but I'll figure it out. So var success is integer try parse. What do we do here? No, not a span probably. How do I do this? Here we go. No, not a span. So we have span. No. Okay, string. So we just passed the string here. Okay, text. I passed. Okay, so out int result. That's it. It seems to be working, and it's pretty amazing that it does. Let's convert to an explicit type. Okay, so to elaborate, what just happened? This is not particularly difficult code, but I've written a lot of C# for my course and pretty much no C# for myself, which is why I lack experience. So this is like, oh wow to me. We're parsing text into an integer, and we have this success thing because it can fail. By the way that my program is going to work, it's not going to fail, but this is like safer. If success, or rather if not success, then throw new error. What error do we have? Oh god, there's probably a lot of different errors that it can pick from. Surprisingly not that many. Oh, because exception. I'm used to auto hotkey and it uses error there. File exception or something of that nature. format exception. That's good enough. So what can we pass here? We can pass nothing, a message, a message. So, okay, counter file doesn't contain, instead of doesn't, isn't fully a file. What? Isn't fully a number, an integer. Okay, so now the read method can throw an error if it fucked up. Cool. So now we have pretty much a guarantee that it will work. It's not really how exceptions work, but if there's an error here, I will know, which is very good. Cool. Now we actually use the result by return result. I have a surprisingly better time. Private is unused. Oh, come on, chill out about it. I'm going to use it. C# has the wildest, well, not errors necessarily, but warnings. This is not a warning, this is an info, but still, obviously I'm gonna use it. Can you, chill out until it's actually useful? Okay, let's actually commit this, because I should have quite some time ago. Add counter manager. So it now has the read method. We can now read the result. We should do the same thing. Void write, which will write to the file. And we provided a string, well, no, not string, an integer. No, actually, yes, an integer, actually. Yeah. Integer current count. And we just file write all text. Current count. And you can't not convert an integer into a string. Pretty sure that's how would that fail? So I just cast it. Really? Why cannot convert type int to string? Interesting. This takes in. Oh, hold up. Because path is first. It makes sense. I also have it path first in my abstraction in other hotkey for this type of thing, but I kind of didn't consider it for some reason. Okay, so counter file cannot convert from int to string. Are you sure? Why? That's so weird. What if I toString? But this works. C# is so weird. It has, I feel 5 different methods to convert types. And I don't really understand why there are so many. C# is a weird language sometimes. Okay, so by all accounts, write should only be this, right? I don't see why I would need more than this. So let's commit it. Implement write. Now we have read and write. Woohoo! So, what's the situation? I know. Before we go on any like longer, we create the constructor. No parameters at least yet. So the reason why we need this is to make sure the counter file actually exists. And then we do the same thing for either, I think. So here we will call a method that I'm going to implement. So private void make sure counter file exists. I know it's like a huge ass name, but we have the wonderful key of tab, which can autocomplete everything. So it doesn't really matter. Make sure counter file exists. If file exists, if file not exists, of sure, wait, no, not short, counter file, So if it doesn't exist, then file create counter file, and that should be it. However, if you read all text, opens the text file, reads all the text in the file, then closes the file. That's great. A string containing all the text in the file. Argument. Okay. Read all text. My fucking chat crashed. Hello, Jonathan Shenzion. Yeah, I fucking love them. First of all, let me actually show you. Okay. I wanted to know if you have any recommended way of writing non-code stuff with Vim bindings. Good question. Well, okay, I have a couple of things to show you. First of all, I need to figure out how the fuck I open my other VS Code window. Workspace from file, and it should be in .files, this one. Okay. I could open my diary, but that's way too like personal. Okay, let's open reg k. So imagine you're writing a paragraph. It has multiple sentences. What can you do with them? I need another line to show off a feature. So, first of all, when you use like normal brackets in Vim, you can go between sentences. And why doesn't it fucking screencast mode? Come on. So as you can see, I'm using that normal brackets, and I go through sentences. Very useful. It also supports all the operators that you could expect. So D and then this deletes until the next sentence. Yeah, don't worry, I just enabled it. For some reason, it just decides to disable itself sometimes, and it's kind of weird. So yeah, first of all, this. Second of all, let's actually just YP, PPP, so I have more text. So what if you want to go line down, to go to the word line? Well, you press J, and you're not where you're supposed to be. You can use GK and GJ to go between lines that are wrapped. which is very useful. The same thing goes for other motions. So if you use dollar, you go to the end of the line. Well, maybe you actually want it to be here. By the way, this thing is made in auto hotkey. Well, you can. First of all, you do GK and then G $sign to go to the end of visible line, essentially. Same thing goes for G0 to go to the start of the visible line. Okay, so we have that. Another thing that's very useful. Say you add more text. What if you wanted, like, you entered insert mode and now you want to delete everything that you typed in this insert session? You can, by pressing Ctrl U. It deletes everything that you typed in the current insert session. So, if I exit out of this session and add even more text, oh, I fucked that up. Hold on. Add even more text. Now when I press Ctrl U, it only deletes that text. So the text that you inserted in the current insert session. Very useful. And after that, it just deletes until the end of the line, but it doesn't touch everything that's to the right of your cursor. So it's not necessarily like that useful beyond that point, but maybe it is. I just found it kind of annoying, which is why I implemented Control I, which is the same as just, so I was here, right, in insert mode. So escape and capital S is the same as pressing Control I, but that's the thing that I implemented. So replace line insert. So this is the mapping that I have. VS Code has a built-in key viewer thingy. Yes, I know, right? Like, I love that. Like, it's not your fault. It's just me being an absolute freak. Like, I'm the type of person who, like, say I'm tired, I want to chill out, I want to relax. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna search for some random Vim video on YouTube and watch it, sitting like some crab. I do this for fun. And I think one time so one time I just decided for fun once again to read this entire page, this entire doc. Pretty sure I did. It has a lot, and a lot of really useful stuff. So I just read it and fuck yeah! Let's go! Reading the docs is fucking bomb. Or are you saying like you didn't know? In which case, I'm the cool one here. Okay, in this case, I'll show you more stuff that New Vim has. Ooh, G capital M. I love G capital M. So G capital M. It goes to the middle of the line. Aww. You corrected the gender. Oh, that's so cute. Aww. Pat, 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 pat. So, GM goes to the middle of the line by default. Or, well, more technically, G capital M. I just made a remapping where GM is G capital M. Fuck yeah! I can be someone's random Vim videos? That is... I love that. Fuck yeah. Some things are just not talked about enough in Vim, I feel like, and you just have no way of knowing. So, like, you see the 14th video on YouTube, 10 Vim bindings that you definitely didn't know, and then you watch that video and you definitely fucking knew all of them. RTFM, what does that mean? Hold up, retweet FM to mean, well, the radio, obviously. Reeks, hold up, rate trans females. Okay, rate trans female to male. Usually it's like FTM, right? Yeah. By the way, this is a strange take, but in my experience, trans men are rare. Like, I see trans girls all the time. Well, on the internet at the very least. I haven't seen one in real life. No, I've seen at least 2, actually. But trans men, it's as if they don't exist. It's so, like, weird. Oh! Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Honestly, like, the dogs are underrated. The amount of things you can learn from them, obviously, is so much. Yeah. Oh, hey, Misha. Hello. Hello. Coming back to another cool thing. Yeah, GM. In Vim, pretty much, every single, like, binding, key, and so on, you can put a number before it and it will do something. So if you do 20 GM, it goes to 20% of the line. How useful that is, I can't really say, but it's so cool. Really? Like, oh, that's interesting. I don't think I know a single one. Let me count the trans girls that I know. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, at least 5. At least 5. I might be forgetting about someone, but I don't know a single trans man. I would want to, like, meet some. It's just, I don't really see them anywhere. Or maybe they're, like, more hidden. Like, they aren't as public about their gender identity. Maybe that's the case. Or maybe it's just, like, chance. I don't know. So yeah, GM, you can put a number to it. Another thing, did you know that you can say 100 I bleh, escape, and here you go. Yes, yes. If you type in a number before an insert, it will do that many times. I love him so much. This obviously also works for A, so 10A, P, boop. And what else do we have? It even works for O, so 5O, hi, and it inserts that. Goodbye. It was nice seeing ya. I know, right? Like, that is crazy. So it works for O. God damn it. Okay, works for O. So imagine I delete a line, and now I want to delete not the current line, but the line after. 2 dot. Wait, and that used to work differently. I guess I was misremembering what that actually did. Okay, let's do it differently then. So Vim, I changed it to something like Vam. And now I want to change not the next Vim, but the one after it. So 2 dot. It's fucking weird that it works this way, and I think it shouldn't, but it skips instead of like doing it 2 times. So 2 dot, 2 dot. But on the upside, it's a very easy way to like not have to press N and instead press 2. Not sure how much difference it makes, but you can do that. And as you can see, like, you can say 5D to delete 5 lines, or rather 5 dot to repeat your last action that many times. The same thing applies to registers. If you do this and then some register to basically do it, you can also do 5 that to repeat it 5 times. So essentially, any action that you can do, pretty much everything, even if you think it couldn't be. 5DD. Well, first of all, there are a couple of ways. Let me open a file that has a more clear, I guess, amount of lines. That's not as confusing as a init. So I can, to delete up to the line that has call wait for input, usually what I do is D3 down. That makes a lot of sense to me. But you can also do 4DD, I think, to delete 4 lines. Or DD, and then 3 comma to repeat your last action 3 times. So these are the ways you can do it. What does chat rate mean? Is it messages per what amount of time? Like, that's confusing. Okay. Yeah, so there are 3 different methods depending on which one you like more. To me, it's very obvious to use the 3 down, because I look at this line, how relative it is to the current space. Oh, 3, so 3 down. So I use that. Okay. I closed my workspace to free off my resources, but now everything is fucked. So I'm actually going to reboot it, I guess. regd and regT. Yeah. Anything else really cool that I could show you? Yes, actually. Let's open the docs for P. And somewhere here, GP is pretty cool. Yes. Okay, let's open a clean input box and let's YY this line. So it has 2 levels of indentation, right? What if I want to paste it here? I can do right square bracket P, and that is at least supposed to indent it automatically. But if I just press P, then it indents it with the same level from where you copied it. So you can decide to not do it. Pretty cool. I expected this question. Okay, Welde you can probably see the thumbnail of the stream. It's a woman that has the welding like thing, and it's actually a very old meme. My chat crashed again on my phone. That's so funny. So, it's a old meme. I used to be on the Enter the Gungeon Discord, and the meme is from there. Where this emoji called factory worker was called by some person Welde, without an R, just Welde. And I've loved this meme ever since. So I remembered it and named the stream and my project that way. And the reason why, because it's a work tracker. Work, welding, factory worker, all applies to me. So, yeah. Another thing with P, you can press GP to, okay, so if we press P, then your cursor is at the start of your paste. But if you do GP, it's at the end of your paste. Very useful if you get used to actually using it. No, I'm pretty sure that person was American. If weld was a word, then the male version... Huh, that's interesting. The more you know. So, oh, and also, say, yeah, we have multiple E's here. So the next E is here. What if I want to go to the second E? Well, usually you would do 2F and then go, or rather, FE and then go there. But you can just do 2FE to immediately go to the, not the next one, but the one after it. And you can say 3, or rather, hold up, 3FE. But as you can see, you really have to think to use that. If you get like really practiced using this, you'll love it, but it does require more thought, which sometimes is not worth it, but you can do it. Yeah, okay, so Vim tips done for now. I might come back with more. Whose suggestion was it, by the way? Your. Yeah, so here are a bunch of useful Vim bindings. All the ones that I've showed are actually there by default too, so you don't even have to change your config for them to work. They're just there. Okay, counter manager. Right, so what I was doing is make sure counter file exists. Right, what I wanted to do is read all text. Please don't be in Russian. Thank you, god damn. Okay, so opens a text file, reads all the text in the file into a string, that closes the file. So my question is, if that file contains nothing, does it return an empty string or null? Returns string. Exceptions. Contains, path. Path is null. Path too long. Directory not found. Well, this is just, oh well. Path specified a file. Makes sense. Or, no file. No format. So supposedly, if it's nothing there, then it just returns an empty string. Yeah, first of all, they're like terrible, and second of all, I don't want to be using Russian ever, anywhere. Like, part of the reason why I learned English to begin with was because I don't like Russian or the country. So, like, it just automatically decides, oh yeah, you definitely want a translation. Bro, I googled it in English! Crazy. So, I don't even actually want to create, I want to write all text. Because what I want to do is type in 0. It only takes in a string. Fair enough. Like, you could say that this is annoying, like, oh, come on, like, why does it matter? You should have an overload of character. But for some reason, I feel kind of good that it differentiates that. No, actually, I expect a string. You can't pass a character to me. They just shoved the entire page into... Really? Like, I half expected them to translate them, like, manually. Hiring people who actually know their stuff into a different language. Really? Jesus Christ. That's just terrible. I noticed the doc's translation being bad, but to that point, oh my god. Also, you don't see me fucking programming in Russian. Okay. I'm gonna act like German right now with an elaborate bit.